so much for being here. This is our second year doing this on the digital track, so thank you guys so much for having us. I want to shout out to our sponsor really quick for the digital media track. We have NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness Georgia. So we have a QR code up here. Feel free to check them out. They do some pretty incredible work. So please be sure to donate if you can, or just learn more about them. That'd be great. Okay, so yes, um, voices in the ether. Today I'm Sailor Mars, but every other day I am Michelle Pokepack. I will be part of the panel and I will be helping to facilitate. And I'll have us go around and just kind of introduce ourselves really quick. Sounds good? I need to enunciate. Okay.
Michelle, you want to go first?
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Michelle Pokepack. I'm an actor, mostly in theater and film. I also do some dramaturg work, so help development of new plays, stuff like that. I also co-run an organization called East by Southeast, takeoff of South by Southwest. So we are a partnering and networking organization for local Asian artists down here in Atlanta, to help like advocate for authentic representation, also help bring as many Asian artists to your event or production as much as possible, also help connect us all so that we can all be a stronger and better community. So yay! Who else? Go for it.
Hi everyone, my name is Naomi Smith. I am a filmmaker. Can you hear me? I'm a filmmaker. I'm mostly in the art department and props and set decoration department. So if you have questions for that, and I am still showcasing my film "I Love You," which was my first director debut of narrative. So it's still in the festival. So I'm very excited. Yes.
Yay!
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. My name is Jack Ha. I am an actor, producer, stand-up comedian, and I'm also co-partnered with Michelle Pokeback on East by Southeast. And yeah, I'm local here, and yeah, love to be an artist. Yeah.
What's up, guys? My name is Alan Z. I'm a rapper, singer, actor. I have credits on Netflix, HBO Max, and the CW. The latest film project that I can talk about that I'm really excited about is a horror film that I'm in called Traction Park Massacre, and we're doing our world premiere screening this October at New York Comic Con. So I'm pretty excited about
It's
that.
gonna be huge, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. As you can see, we're all Asian up here. So yeah, we kind of started try doing the diversity track last year and just kind of bringing like an Asian American artist lens to this. So obviously, like I mean, we're gonna bring our own personal cultural experiences to this, but of course, there's the universal that we'll be touching on also. So I just want to acknowledge that I think it's really cool that we get to be able to do this. And also, we of course don't represent all Asian Americans and Asian American artists. Particularly, most of us are East Asian up here, but I just want us to acknowledge that there's a whole diaspora within the community. And so, thank you for listening to our personal experiences here. So we've introduced ourselves and kind of like the industries that we touch on. I think I would like to start with a official definition of social media. So, according to Google, social media definition. Simple definition. Social media, a form of mass media communications on the internet. So, such as websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content, so such as videos and etc. So, with that understanding of what we're about to touch on, I kind of just want us to, keep this informal, keep it organic. I think it'd be cool if we just all started to share like how we have been able to implement and use social media towards our careers, and then I would love to open it up to other talking points that I have prepped. So, who would like to start? Go for it.
I think my story might be a little different because I felt like I had no choice. Because when I was younger, like as a teenager, like I was in the system, like in terms of not prison, but like the major label system of like just like record labels and things like that. And
Just to clarify.
yeah, not the system, but
We brought him here today.
yeah, I'm actually on parole. No, I'm just kidding. Because I was in the major label, like the machine, like I was constantly trying to seek the approval of like different companies and corporations. And every time like I was close to like debuting or whatever, they'd be like, oh no, you're Asian. And that was always the thing, was like, you're Asian. And so
What do they mean by that?
it was basically like, you're not marketable. I don't know if you have an audience. Have you thought about going back to China? Do you speak another
Very
language? Do you want to
othering.
rap in or sing in Mandarin or Korean? Can you do K-pop? All these like really microaggressive things. I've heard everything. Oh, do you want to hide your face and we'll show it later? Like I've heard that from multiple execs, and so
Like ghostwriter, ghost musician kind of thing.
yeah,
Wow,
like
okay.
so I felt like I didn't have a choice but to do social media so that I can build my own audience, because I realized if I stuck with the dinosaurs, all they're gonna do is hold me back and then make me do things I didn't want to do. So I utilize social media to my benefit to create an organic fan base for myself. I'm still a very much a touring musician. I perform in multiple cities. Last year I did 20 cities plus Puerto Rico,
Wow.
and did a speaking segment in a university in China. And I think a lot of that came from the fact that like I built like my own audience through digital media. And so for me, it was like a necessity, because I realized that like if no one else can break me, I can break me.
So that was the way for you to like introduce your music and also to gather your audience. Like,
Yeah,
you have marketer,
yeah,
lawyers, stuff like that, agents and stuff like
yeah.
that. Where are you with a team right now?
So as far as music, it's me, me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
But as an
Yeah.
actor, I'm signed to two agencies, one in the Southeast and one in the Midwest.
Okay.
So thank God, like I have some kind of representation as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
But musician wise, like I mostly sign non-exclusive deals with booking agents, because I realize if I sign an exclusive, like I'm booking myself anyway, and I don't want them to have 10-20% of what I'm making. So
Right.
now the deals I make is like, if you can bring an opportunity to the table, you can take a cut, but nothing from me if I'm booking it myself.
Okay. So most of the music production is through you. Is that correct?
The music booking, yes,
Oh,
but
booking. Okay.
production wise, I have producers, I have like
Okay.
engineers, and yeah.
Got it. I'm not too familiar with the music world, so thank you for breaking
Yeah,
that
yeah.
down. Thank you. That's good to know. Let's unpack that a little bit more. But yeah, so you've been able to use social media to help build that part of your career. How do you feel like it's done so far for you? Great? Like still going? Like
Oh, for sure. I
what's the
don't.
temperature check?
As much as I want to quit social media and just like live on a farm, I can't. I
So
think
real.
that like a lot of reasons why I'm booking so much, like as like a musician touring, and also even as an actor, I feel like because I have such a strong like digital footprint and
Mm,
like social resume in the sense of like Instagram and TikTok and whatever, like they're more inclined to book me, because I can be like, here's my metrics, here's my stats, as opposed to,
right.
to saying like, oh, I'm really good. It's like, no, I'll show you why I'm good. Like I
Right.
have like concert reels, I have the actual like
You have the
viral
inside
moments,
data
yeah, all
that
the
it
inside
collects.
data,
Yeah.
plus clips of me on tour and performing, so they can see it in real time, like this is what I can do, I can bring an audience. So
Got you. What are the major or big social media platforms that you use?
I'm kind of obsessed with Instagram. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie, I hate it.
It's the big
I hate
one.
it.
Yeah.
Instagram. I used to do TikTok a lot, but I realized like um, how detrimental it is to us as a society. So I'm like, it's like my second
It's
biggest, I
hard.
guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay.
Instagram for sure. Yeah.
Instagram and TikTok. Got it. Any
Yeah.
other platforms?
As far as a musician, like I always send people to like my Spotify and Apple
Yep.
Music and YouTube.
And we'll talk about our relationship with those
Yeah.
platforms too. Awesome. Thank you, Alan. Anyone else want to go in?
Oh,
Go for it.
sure. Um,
Zoe.
so for me, I do have an agent. My agent is Spin Style Agency. So I do food and props styling in that department for commercials. Um, and the film work I get through referral base. Most of my career is through referral base. If I didn't have people to back me up, I wouldn't keep doing what I'm doing. And I've been doing it for now over 12 years. So in our department set deck, it is about who you know, unfortunately. Since the film industry is slower, I have really heavily leaned on commercials. So without social media, like my agent has heavily pushed me in two platforms, TikTok and Instagram, to heavily push my styling and the different clients that I have had. So I definitely throw out the big names, and I am very strategic of like what I want to be and how I want to be represented. Bigger the clients, the more notice you are going to get with, just interacting with them. And as well as I've worked with a lot of celebrities, from like Jack Harlow with his KFC, when he was sponsored with that.
Oh, right.
Like I
forgot.
styled many sandwiches for him to bite into recently. So, well, that was a few years ago, but still, it was very entertaining to be that close to him and be like, oh, here you go. You don't have to eat it. You can spit it into a bucket.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's
So
real,
I
though.
style a lot of food when it comes to just people eating it, whether it's actors eating it and knowing the knowledge. And with social media, I connect with other stylists. I ask them questions, like what have they used in their kits? What do they use to help with whatever they're needing to do when it comes to people eating, or whether to style for camera. So beauty stuff, sometimes it's augmented to where it's not edible because it's been sitting in the camera for I don't
Mhm.
know, 8 to 12 hours. I don't know. But
How do you make it sustainable and safe?
yeah,
for your
always
clients
safe.
and
Like
stuff?
my
Yeah.
biggest concern on my department is making sure I'm interacting with the actors and knowing their dietary restrictions, knowing just what is in their comfort level and that sort of thing.
So it sounds like social media has not only been able to help you network and
Mhm.
be like a online portfolio essentially,
Yes.
but it's also allowed you to reach out to other fellow artists that do the same work that you do, and
Mhm.
then you can use it as a communication tool to be able to share that knowledge and like kind of like help each other out.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Okay.
And the other main social media platform I primarily use in the art department in SETDEC, we are heavily use Facebook, surprisingly, in these private groups to communicate with each other in Atlanta. So there's like our art department group is very active.
Yeah.
Every day someone's posting like, hey, we're getting rid of things, they'll either give it away for free or you can just pick it up. It's always helping each other out. I would say in Atlanta as a whole, without the community of Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, you wouldn't connect with each other so easily because you're not going
Right.
to have people's personal information, but you can completely like message them online or privately message them on their platform, and they'll probably most likely get back to you within 30 minutes to an hour of whatever you need.
And it's sometimes like a safer way to like contact people through there
Mhm.
versus like your personal, like,
Mhm.
your cell phone number or something like that. Yeah, I've seen that so many times in our industries.
And one more industry I wanted to mention is Georgia as a whole has a very large theater program,
Mhm.
and theater is also very active on Facebook.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, in Georgia, particularly, we're a right to work state. So it kind of changes up things as far as like unions operates and how they don't really work within sometimes. So that's a whole other conversation. But, anyways, so yeah, a lot of the work and a lot of the like casting calls or searching production ones are either who you know or they just kind of blast it on some sort of social media page. I've seen that a lot. So cool. Thank you, Naomi. Jack, you want to go share about how social media has helped you?
Yeah. So social media, I think, was interesting at the day and age when we're using social media now. I think it's a beautiful thing how we're actually connecting. I use this to my own lifestyle. Honestly, I've been growing up. I was very depressed. I was very lonely, and I was just in a silo, right? And I know we can all experience that. We've been depressed before, and we've always been in a silo and kept independent to ourselves. But eventually, I realized I had to really branch out to uh, really connect in ways that I've never thought I would connect before. I've have friends in here that I've connected in ways I never thought we would be. I'm part of D&D campaigns or part of like film and TV or anything, right? And I think that's the beautiful thing about social media. It can be very disadvantaged, but it can be advantage when you go out there and utilize it to find certain groups or people and everything. And
So
they
not just
agree.
career wise, but also
Right.
just like your community and life and personal life,
Right,
right?
community as
Those
well,
circles.
and I think that's really nice. As career wise, I I do stand up comedy now, and man, that's really hard because just really like connecting with the group. I use Discord a lot, so Discord, if you never used it before, it's a great tool and aspect to really get into those chats and everything to really see what's going on in the now and then and really connect with people. It's really advantage. So
It's crazy how much you feel like you know someone when sometimes you've never met them in person, right?
Right.
Especially like I know obviously in the gaming world and like Discord and stuff, like you can really build like a whole like life through there without ever having to like be in the same room as someone, which is just insane to me.
yeah,
It's
and
normalized.
just like the Twitch streamers, they understand Discord, but if you never used Discord before, it can use for anything, kind of subject. Like is insane. There's like a whole community. Anything you like,
Or Twitch,
anything you're interested in, you can use Discord, and you'll find your common people, your commonality, and your interests for anything you're looking for. So yeah, I use that for my own for stand-up comedy, film and TV wise, finding auditions, finding opportunities, Facebook groups. I've got a lot of jobs through there. I work in like camera, lighting, art department. I work with Naomi over here doing art as well. And it's just utilizing anything I can to find those opportunities, and they're out there. You just gotta like find the right ones, right?
And
And
that's a whole other level
yeah.
of like sifting and vetting, right? Yeah. Thank you. And then I think so as an actor, dramaturg, and East by Southeast, I'll touch on East by Southeast first. We are a grassroots organization. We started between me and my partner Ami Bias, who's a Indian American actor in town. We felt this lack of like opportunities or representation to be able to tell like authentic Asian American stories without us being told like the talent isn't here or nobody's really interested in that kind of stuff, this othering kind of language, right? Also the idea that maybe well, we can do this if you're like playing a refugee or you're playing, very culturally nationality specific to something, and it's like we can be more than that nowadays. Like if I have to see another like Miss Saigon or something like that, like I'm gonna cringe. Anyways, a lot of problematic stuff that we've kind of come through, and now today been able to see like, hey, we're also American. We're part of that like fabric, right? We don't have to be seen as foreign, right? So with that, we just started with the people that we knew, the artists that we could collect, and we started some events and some performances, and from there we built our following and community through mainly Instagram and Facebook. In addition to like your good old email blasts, word of mouth has been able to kind of launch from there, and I'm really proud of like how far we've come since then. But really, we don't even have a website yet. We're still figuring that out, and I'm just really surprised by like the big following we've gathered so far with just those minimal things. Well, I don't want to say minimal, but like just social media alone has been really incredible. As an actor, they it's a really weird relationship with performers in general, and like how much do you rely on your social media presence versus like just how good work you do, and is that enough, right? And sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it is, but it depends on like so many different concoctions that you can mix in with it, right?
Can I,
So yeah, please go in,
touch on that real quick?
please.
I think as an actor, like, um, it's a little bit different from like how I would approach it as a musician, and I want
Hmm.
to hear your thoughts on this as well. But like, so for me, when I really decided I wanted to be an actor, like I kind of like soft launched it. So
Okay.
like in around 2018, 2017, like I would do a bunch of like sketch comedy because I'm really influenced by like Dave Chappelle and Key and Peele. So
Hmm.
I would write a lot of my own. I have like my friends come and do them. And like I went viral a couple of times on TikTok and Instagram doing them. But once I took acting seriously and I got signed, I actually stopped doing sketch comedy because whenever I told people I'm an actor, I didn't want them to be like, oh yeah, I seen your little skits. And it was like, it felt like that's what the attributed acting to, right?
Huh. Okay.
And I feel like if you're too big on the social media route as an actor, like if you're doing a bunch of skits,
Mhm.
I feel like people kind of see you as a sketch guy, like a
Right.
comedian. So
Right.
for me to take my art, my craft seriously, I purposely chose not to do a bunch of viral skits
Mm.
because I wanted people to take me seriously as an actor.
That's
So
an
when I-
interesting choice of
yeah.
when to go out of social media to be able to help you redirect to something. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
like, you will be pigeonholed so much in our industry, especially as performers, right? And so, like, when you want to break into something new,
Yeah.
like, how do you manipulate your use of social media to be able to do that? And that is a choice, is to be able to just step away from it sometimes. But yeah, I think that's like the biggest outreach, is like how it really gives an idea to those who don't know you of what you do, right? So with acting and stuff, like, I think it's really hard for theater actors to sometimes break into film, because there's a lot of stereotypes with that, of like they're too big, or like it's a different skill set, so they won't consider you for certain things, or plug in any other kind of position into that, right? And so pigeonholing, how to redirect your social media to be able to show maybe a plethora of your portfolio, or maybe a little bit vague, right? I also want to touch on this idea of like the personal versus the career. So, like, there's a spectrum that I kind of like to visualize it as, of like social media. I imagine like influencer is like at the very end of that, right? Like, and then you have folks that are trying to start their thing, very early stages, but like, they maybe make one video or one post or picture trying to market something, right? So, where are we on that, as on that spectrum, I would say, like with our careers? Would you consider yourself an influencer?
Hell no.
Okay.
Excuse my language.
No
Hell
offense
no.
to influencers, because that's a real thing. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wasn't shot at you.
But it's different. It's different.
Oh.
Yeah. So what we do really isn't really influencer status, right? We're not really trying to launch certain brands.
I think that's
Yeah.
like the weird pipeline now with the whole influencer thing, because it's like
Capitalism.
at the end of the day, you're not even servicing yourself. You're servicing some. It's all just like cringe capitalist stuff. At the end
Mhm.
of the rainbow, is
Affiliated marketing. Yeah.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
becomes like drop shipping and affiliate marketing,
Brand
and it's like
ambassador. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and which is fine, and people make a living out of that. People make buku money off of that sometimes.
But as an artist, it's like we separate ourselves from that. I feel like, right?
Right. And where's that balance, right? Because sometimes I feel like a lot of people have to do certain things and sacrifice certain moral integrity in order to maintain the status or the profile to be able to get those connections, right? So obviously, I feel like that's just like personal preference at that point, and it's like, how do you strategize your career from there with your team, if you have other team members with that too? Because a lot of like influencers have also launched their career trajectory to being other things like actors or musicians or whatnot. So that's also another
Yeah.
cross blend that's been happening. Okay, I want to move us into, so like the communication, the community building we were talking about, how it's really easy to be able to reach out to folks nowadays, which is really helpful. I want to talk about how, when you are not like Alan, for example, you were talking about when your career, you did not fit the mold, right? You were not the status quo, the conventional, especially these big labels, these big companies, big production houses, whatever. Don't see you in, don't know how to market you in, etc. So it's on to you to kind of create it on your own, a trajectory of your own, right? So do we feel at any point in our careers that we weren't being seen, we weren't being accepted, we weren't being able to, we weren't given that chance or that opportunity, and we found a way through our own social media to be able to break through that?
Do you
It's a
want to-
heavy loaded question. Sorry.
Yes, actually, I think I can answer that
Go ahead.
first. So for me, the more I was posting my work of all the commercials that I was a part of, or whether I was doing prop or food styling or art department within everything that I was doing, the more I posted, the more I got noticed by various people. And it's just also the respect you're getting from people who you want to notice you, or who also you would like to work with or get hired by, whether it's the producer, whether it's just another person in that department that you're shooting for or you're striving for. The more you do post, the more you start to really feel connected, but you're also kind of valuing your work, as in like, okay, I'm not going to be humble and I'm just going to just showcase what I've worked hard to get there. Like, it's okay to share the things that you've achieved. Absolutely. it's okay to put out there that you're proud to be a part of this and the team that you are a part of too. Like I shout out all the time the names that all the names of people I worked with because it means something to me. Without the referrals of some of the people, I wouldn't have gotten some of the jobs that I've gotten. And I think that's a very important thing to value. But you also have to think on your platform, how do you want to be seen? What is your image? I do have multiple Instagrams to separate my personal page from like my cosplay costuming page from my prop and food styling page. Those are all separate. I can't keep that on one page because
Right.
it would be almost too much and people probably would have no idea what I do. And I don't want that. Like I want to be able to control how I'm being seen because some people who see one page will probably never go to the other page or they don't even know it exists, and that's
Right.
okay. Like,
Right.
you know, sometimes you don't want people to follow your personal page and you can make that private
Like a
versus
Finsta.
versus like you have this page strictly for your career, for whatever it may be, acting, props, food styling, um, or just the people you work with. And that's how it operates here. I'm not sure about in other cities how it operates, but in Atlanta, I find that um, there are a lot of people on various platforms. So depending on what platform you feel like is best fit for you, put 100% or 120% effort into that platform. Don't worry about all the other platforms. Don't like spread it out to 3 platforms. If you feel like Instagram or TikTok or even Discord is best for you, stay on that and really put 120% effort into that and see where you go from there.
I think that's a really fascinating suggestion, and I really like that because one, you're spreading yourself thin sometimes, right?
Yes.
But two, know who your target audience is, right? So like, there's a major difference sometimes with target audiences between the platforms, like Instagram, Facebook. I mean, the big three, right? Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, which I think are all Facebook and Instagram are actually owned together
Meta, yeah.
too. Yeah, Meta. Yeah. So just knowing background like that can really help you strategize. How do you hone in on like the target audience, right? And who do you want this to be shown to? I have another question for you, and I'll open this to the rest of us, of course. But so obviously put out your stuff, be proud of your work, do the best you can because that sometimes is the only way they see your work or your portfolio.
Yes.
But when you are trying to attract maybe certain kinds of people or dream directors, designers, musicians, digital creators, do you ever have the balls to DM them?
Yes.
How does that go for you?
Actually, for some of the clients that I've DM'd, it's worked out in my favor.
Okay.
Some clients will respect it. And to be honest, if you have the balls to DM someone you really want to work with, they don't get those messages as often as you think. Most people kind of forget the old fashioned DMing or even emailing, as well as like, you know, for me, I have 2 portfolios. I have my art department portfolio website. I also have my prop and food styling website. I can't mix those two because, like, for some reason, if I do too much as a woman or just as a whole, no one wants that.
Right.
It's
The
very
stereotypes
strange,
of
but
that.
no one wants someone that's skilled in all these areas. So I have to control how the website is being seen and how the social media is being seen.
I think sometimes, in addition to maybe they don't want that, there's this lack of trust,
Yes.
right? There's this
person
deniability of
do
like, there's no
everything?
way. Yeah.
Can that
So-
person really be good at various skills? I am very detail oriented. I really like very specific things. I love color. I love texture. I understand it. I came from tabletop styling all the way from college. And I can just sit and tinker with something over and over again until I can get it right. Or to the idea of perfection, specifically for
Mhm.
commercial or for movies, because we're creating these worlds that props and all these things are very, very vital and important to storytelling. And commercials is mini storytelling.
Paying attention to those specific details is so hard to find, I feel sometimes. And like I said, if you're able to build that reputation and be vetted by other people, they're like, oh no, yeah, like they're able to do that, like
Yeah.
trust me. Yeah, they're not someone you have to worry about. That's such a great thing that you're able to build from there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want
It
to
sounds
piggyback
like
on
it's a
that.
yes.
The DMing or messaging people you don't know. I know it's scary,
Yeah.
but the worst thing they can say is no. Like I
Yes.
can't tell you how many
Or
times
unread.
I've actually literally or unread because people are busy. They have a lot of things going
Yeah.
in their life, understandable. But if you want something, you go for it, and you don't ask for permission. You go for it. Just be like, hey, I'm here for it. I like this stuff. I think we can collaborate. Or that's how I got in so many shows, comedy shows I've been doing because I DM certain producers or people, and I'm an Asian comic. We don't. There's not a lot of us. They're just like, hey, do you want the DEI here? I'm here. Like
Yeah,
we're here.
yeah.
So I think just taking that advantage. I know it's scary. It's very weird. It's so weird. But you just go there and ask. The worst they can do is just say no, and you can actually get what you want. The more you seek out, it's a weird thing, but it has given me so many opportunities. And I'm sure same for everyone on this panel, but and I'm sure for you as well. You may have done it once or twice, but you realize if you keep doing it, you're gonna get to where you just need to really go, or whatever goals or accomplishments are you trying to get, short-term goals, long-term goals. But yeah, just try to really shoot for it. Yeah.
I agree that the ambition and the ability to be proactive and initiating something is sometimes easier than you think. And of course, do it tactfully,
Yeah.
right? Don't be annoying or rude about it. And if you don't get an answer, or if you don't get an answer you like, that's okay. But it's not always a closed door for the future. So just play the game, read the room, right? But yeah, I love that this is a way for us to empower ourselves to be able to kind of create our own trajectory of our career. I keep saying that word. But like when people, you get so many no's, right? Or if you don't fit the mold and the big reps don't want or don't know what to do with you. Alan, do you have something?
Yeah, no, I was gonna piggyback off of that, and like
Please.
I've gotten so many opportunities from just DMing because I
Yeah.
feel like if it's a one-to-one contact, it's easier than going through a middleman, which sometimes gets lost in the
Mhm.
fold, right? And also, I think going back to the tag, I think it's, as long as you make it really personable, like and not
Yes.
spammy, people will actually read it.
Don't
Especially,
copy and paste the same message.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I'll say too, if that person that you value, like for me, like it will be like another artist or actor. If they follow me, immediately I DM them. I say, hey, thank you for connecting, because
Yeah.
it makes them, I feel like if they just follow me, why would I not reach out if I wanted to? You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I think it's really important to not be afraid to cold call sometimes.
And I'm also surprised by sometimes, like, I have to remind myself it doesn't have to stay here. So like you
Yeah.
initiate something through like a DM, right? I'm very much I like to have a one-on-one coffee with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to meet you in person. Of course, that's not always going to be able to happen, but if you can, take it out of the DM screen, right? Like invite them out, do a virtual Zoom call, like, or something, right? So you can have that like personable moment to be able to really understand each other and see how you can collab better. For sure. So yeah, very much an easier and more accessible way to be able to build your collaborations. So I want to also kind of touch more on the so there's been some things going on. AI, the craziness of film industry, particularly, and like the slowdown of work. In the theater world, NEA grants have been taken, so a lot of arts organizations are really been going through a lot. Funding is down. Um, so I want to talk about with all these relevant issues and how it's really changed the way we're kind of like still making work out of it. Even when there is lack of work, even when there's a change of things, like because of like how we're watching our videos nowadays, verticals are coming up now. All of our film, TV stuff, YouTube, everything, digital media versus physical media. I want to talk about all that. Okay. Um, so, have any of us been affected by these changes and obstacles such as AI and the craziness of work and the politics and policies that have happened? And how have you pivoted?
Yeah.
Go, go.
Okay.
Ha,
So
go.
yes, my department has deeply been affected by it because a lot of producers are very convinced that art department can be done post, or like things can be created and you don't have to use the work of a graphic designer. You don't have to use like certain things. Like AI has been a heavy like positive tool of creating something out of nothing. Like it's
Skechers has a
bizarre.
campaign out right now and it's full
Um,
AI and it makes me so
Oh,
angry.
no.
But even like last December, Coca-Cola came out with this 100% AI commercial. No real people, no
Polar
real
bears.
product. And was it good? In my opinion, no, because I could tell fully that it just didn't look right. Something about it just didn't look right. But for the average eye, do you care? If you don't care, then they still get all the profit.
Mm.
People are still buying their product,
And they save so much money.
and they save so much
Yep.
money. They spent I don't know, like I think it was a $5 billion contract on get hiring programmers to do the software for the AI, which means they aren't paying stylists, they aren't paying a designer, they aren't paying a lot of people, and a lot of people have probably not been able to work with Coke as much as they used to. And Coke used to be a client that I used to work with heavily. Do I still style for them? I do, but everything I do now is social media, and it's social media photos or videos that are very small and 30 seconds, 45
15
seconds.
second, yeah.
And my rate has gone down significantly from where it used to be. And like, depending on where they hire style, they can hire stylists from New York to LA, and those stylists could be at $1,200 a day, could be lower, could be 800. I mean, mine is as low as $500 a day, and that's Atlanta, and it's really
Wow.
heartbreaking because that's almost half of what I used to make.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going lower, and I'm like, but I'm still doing the same amount of work. I'm still doing 10 to 12-hour days. Like,
On top of if there's a union or
Why?
any agencies being able to advocate or back up for you. Yeah.
and
that's
it's
tough.
frustrating. And across the board, verticals, the same issues. Like an average production designer will make $250. Every vertical film I've been offered is $250 for 12 hours a day, and that's a department head position. Then a set dresser, which would be like a helper to me, is that what I think they budgeted me at like $125 a day. And I was like, I'm not putting any of my experienced set dressers in that position. I mean, I know
Yeah.
money's tight, but
It's almost like an insult to them.
it's
Yeah.
painful to work days and also like barely get anything, knowing that our rates were protected by unions, but some things aren't protected by unions depending on the shoot. And like, do you want to be on a project that you're working just as hard for little outcome? Like, my department's deeply affected, and I will strategically choose the jobs that will protect my assistants, that will protect me as a department head. I also prefer to work with producers that will protect my team.
I absolutely agree. And the question that comes up for me with this is like, okay, if the way that we can combat this movement is by only saying yes to those projects, right, that are able to fight for us, are able to, um, maintain the standard, right, and not sell us out. The productions that are looking for those other, scapegoats and cheap ways to do it, they're gonna find people.
Yes.
There's always gonna be someone that's gonna say yes. Will it eventually affect the quality of things? Will they be able to show how good they are at the end of the day? Who knows? But that's the question that I have is like, I feel empowered to be able to say yes to the projects that I believe in, but then it's like, is that really stopping them?
No.
I don't know.
I think the
Um,
answer is no, it's not. Like, verticals are heavily going to be pushed as an example of something in our industry. Are people watching it? I'm not 100% sure because I'm not watching it. I don't
It's
think
an
any of my
international
friends are
audience,
watching
from I
it.
understand, that watches verticals mainly.
But as a whole, outside, like, people are very glued to their phones,
Yeah.
and they're designing movies and TV shows, episodics for the phone.
Yep.
And I want to touch on this really quick about verticals too, because I worked on a vertical shoot, like a TV show, and
Mhm.
it was like so embarrassing because it was
Yeah,
the quality's
why?
so bad. The act,
Oh.
like it was just like really sloppy, right? And
Uh,
also that was also the set that I got treated the worst in. Like it was like terrible, like just energy, right?
man.
And also what I've been noticing with a lot of these vertical shorts is for example, like in Hollywood and a lot of our industries, like in like streaming platforms, what we push for is a lot more like diverse stories, having more people like us, more Black and Latino faces on
Mm.
screen, right? Verticals are saying let's go back to 1988,
Yeah, it's
and
a
it's
lot of
disgusting
white
to me.
centering stories.
And not
that's been
saying disgusting.
happening.
Look, I love Friends. I love like I grew up watching a lot of white shows. I've not. It's just the fact that like now they're trying. It's like this weird like reversal, and the
Yeah.
stories are very much like oh, you want a thug? Let's get a black guy. If you want a
Mm.
butler, let's get an Asian. Like it's a lot of these weird
We're
like.
going back to those stereotypes and
Stereotypes.
old
And if
practices.
it's
yeah.
continuing, I fear that like now they feel safe to just write these very like generic stories where we're now pushed to the background.
Yeah. And I worry about like these illustrators and designers too and like, is there a place for us to fight? I don't know. I don't know. Do you have anything, Jack, that you're able to pivot from any of these obstacles?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's yeah, with the state of the industry, everything that's happening. I think we just have to fight back with more AI tools and usages to our advantages in any way that we can.
Yeah. I think
Because
the work will speak for itself
yeah,
sometimes.
Web 3.0 is here, unfortunately, and we have to adapt, right?
Mhm.
We have to learn how to utilize these AI technologies to our advantages. It's a new learning curve. When the internet came out, we're like, oh, what is this? We're gonna have to learn this. Now AI is coming out. We have to learn it.
I agree. I think there's a way that you can use it as a tool, but not as a complete replacement,
Right.
right? Um, I I also feel like, sorry, I'm backtracking here. Um, Politically, there's a lot of things that are interconnected that we don't think about. I'm not going to talk too much into politics here, but obviously we're in a very, very tense state right now. There's a lot of like polarizing, very violent, very oppressive things happening, and it's affecting our economies. It's affecting our industries, right? So I think another way to go around that, honestly, you're not going to like this, but I think it's just to stay informed. I'm not gonna lie, it really bothers me when hear certain people say, "Oh, I don't do politics. I don't pay attention," and I'm like, I think you really need to understand how much it trickles down. It really affects your day to day life sometimes, and especially now. So when it comes to these industries that we're talking about in social media, a lot of people have taken those platforms to be able to speak out on those things, hold certain people and certain companies accountable, right? Also be able to like rally, right? Come together. And if there's these beliefs that we want to stand up for, be there, show up, put a post out there, like, support, share. That also is a way to be an activist, right? And a lot of it is going to be grassroots based stuff. So just stay informed. It doesn't mean you have to be out there protesting. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to boycott or anything, but just know the power of your money, know the power of your viewership. They are counting those numbers off of what you view, what you like, what you post and share. That is part of their algorithm for them to make money. So, whether you pull out from those things or whether you add to them, know that there's power in that. So, I think that's the thing that I want to empower us today is like, those are related,
Mhm.
right? Union stuff, fighting for the right kind of contracts and pay and safety measures. My goodness. Show up, stay informed. Use your social media and profile presence to do that.
And your social media doesn't have to be you in your face. Like it can be like your skills. It can be what you've done. It can be resharing some things that you are a part of. Like if you are more camera shy and you're not an actor and you're more like skill based, share those skills. Share those things that mean something to you.
Gas up the people you support. That's another thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't just have to be about you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always bringing back to like what's your passion. And I think for social media you can generally tell when someone is being authentic and being true to themselves versus like people who are really forcing like being seen. And sometimes it's sharing what you like and what you're doing, whether you want to be on camera or whether it's just more skills or the things that you've done that's like a screenshot of something that you were a part of, stuff like that. And I see all the time my friends would be like, "Oh, this is me," and then they share like what they did in the film, and then the credits of like, "Oh, my name was here, like I was a part of the team." And that is something that's really important with those movies that actually fully or movies, TV shows, or even music videos or commercials, and when they really shout out all the different people that was a part of this. 'Cause that's important because you can't create this content without a team of people behind it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we should start transitioning to Q&A. And I understand we have our, I'm going to say the wrong platform. It's not Twitch. It's Discord. Thank you.
Discord.
We have our Discord audience
On
today too.
Twitch.
Hi, everyone. But I want to open it, I guess, to the room here. Yes, questions, thoughts?
Yeah, so I am an author and I'm trying to build my brand on social media, and there's a difference between promoting your work versus building your audience. And
Mhm.
I'm curious, what are the types of things you want to bring people not just to your page, but transition from your social media to your actual work? And how many hours a day do you particularly spend on social media work versus your actual craft?
And I'm going to invite folks to come up to this
Yeah,
mic here.
Please
Yes.
come up to the mic so the people online can also hear you.
Sorry. Yes.
But yes, I
Thank you.
can answer that. Marketing strategy when it comes to your page to your work, you really want to know your create different goals, your long-term goals and your short-term goals. With your short-term goals, you want to be able to be like, okay, I want more attention to X, Y, and Z. If it's to your website or to your portfolio or social media platforms, try to keep track of if you can pay for the data. The data is very helpful for you to know who is coming to your page, where are they coming from, and what part of the world, what's the age range. Then you can really market and really strategize. Okay, are females looking at this page? Are like males looking at this page? Is it bigger cities or is it in more like Midwest or the West Side or North? What area and how are you going to keep pushing that? You never know what they're looking at. See if you can gather the data for yourself and figure out your work, and also do like teasers of some of your work. People
Mhm.
really like it when you are building that brand and you're giving little snippets of where you want to be. You're like, oh, I just finished this chapter, and that's a win for you. You're celebrating yourself, and other people are going to celebrate you.
It's a good marketing strategy, Joe. If you see things like how they soft launch certain things before they do the big event, the time period is actually really important too. The longer you have the time to be able to like preview or like market this, and this, versus like you give them a week, like it's not gonna work, right? I think to me, the work is priority. Whatever time and capacity that means for you. I don't know if I can really like quantify how many hours that requires as far as like how
It
much you spend
varies.
on the marketing versus like how do you spend on the work itself. I think work is priority, and then ask yourself like, is it ready now to start the marketing period? Because you would know where it is draft wise, right? If it's a completely finished product and it's ready, then if you don't have those team members to help you that, then you'll know you're ready to do those other responsibilities and hats, right? Timeline, how you market it, and like balancing of that. I think work is priority.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is we use our East by Southeast where we have a schedule to post whenever we want. So we just put in the work for like 1 hour or two, and then it just scheduled throughout the entire like months and year to come.
Oh,
So
yeah.
whatever goals you have, you can actually schedule it ahead of time, and you don't.
It does save a lot of time.
It saves so much time. Yeah.
Something specific to you that I thought about was so I have these two friends that are like pretty big book talk influencers, and I feel like that's a market you could tap into, is like looking into like TikTok book influencers who like actually like their whole brand is about talking about books. And if you find
Amazing.
book talk influencers that align with your book, and you can be like, hey, I'll send you a free copy if you want to talk about it, and that's a way for you to reach different audiences that way as well, especially for what you're trying to do.
And I think using social media as a launching pad to create word of mouth, like marketing, is don't just rely on social media, basically. So like if you can create like gatherings or like, I'll do a preview reading of this chapter or something, and then meet the folks that are able to attend, go from there, work from that. Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
very
see,
nice.
you're here talking about your stuff now, so hopefully people can come check it out, right? Perfect. Thank you. Let's bring ourselves to the microphone if we can, or can we move the microphone? Oh,
you can
okay.
break-
Okay. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you're
No,
good. Go
go
for
for
it.
Yeah.
What do you do to stay sane at a time where these platforms that we primarily use social media seem to actually be pushing something, or seem to be pushing divisive talk
Mm.
rather than
How do we?
amplifying the
Yeah.
voices of people?
Thank you for that question. So I'm going to repeat it on the microphone here. So how do we stay sane when we're going through times when social media can be used as division tactics? How do we find those communities to keep things like equitable and safe for everyone? Right? Yeah. I have to stay off of social media personally. Sorry, I'm going first. I don't mean to
No, go
to take over. I have to limit myself. There are days and hours where I'm like, I am not going to be on my phone because I will be launched in that rabbit hole and I will doom scroll real hard, right? Um, Obviously, that algorithm will kind of cater towards whatever you're trying to look into or interested in at the time, right? So be careful of what you're watching and following. Sometimes you have to watch and look up things that you don't want to, right? Whether it's research or because you're supporting someone or something like that, right? How do you stay sane? I go outside. I have connections with people in real life. I view it as a tool.
Mm.
I don't view it as my life. I don't view it as the only way that I can hang out with people. I don't view it as the only way of like, especially with femmes and women. I think it's really difficult to be able to not let that affect your securities and your beauty standards, right? So I get effed up sometimes because I'm really stuck on this certain thing, and I need to zoom out sometimes. So yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. Go on.
No,
Go
I
into
agree. I mean, like, I take social media breaks because I can guarantee you it's ingrained in all of us. We all doom scroll. We
Duh.
are doom scrolling. The moment we wake up on our beds, we're doom scrolling. But that's ingrained in us. So I encourage you to unlearn that habit. Take
Find
those atomic
boundaries.
habits and then try to get out of the doom scroll. Use it as a tool and an advantage, and then you can really take that and really go outside. Like,
Mhm.
really take some break, go on a walk or something. You know, you're here at DragonCon, but thankfully you're here. So you're out here. We're here together. So yeah, just go out here in the community and actually meet real people. So yeah.
So,
I-
so for me as well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So, to answer your question, how do I stay sane? I follow a lot of pages that mean something to me. A lot of people I follow are artists. They're always putting out new work, so it's exciting to see new pieces of work. I also do use social media and I follow like positive things that are happening in the world, and we kind of underestimate all the good things that are happening on top of the bad. We really have to keep in mind, yes, the good and the bad are actually quite equal, but we just don't view it that way. So beware of who you're following and follow a page that is posting daily of good things that are happening. I do follow a lot of cute animal pages, so that's very satisfying for me. And also the pages of things that fit in the perfect, like it's like a puzzle piece, and it like fits in those tiny I don't know what you would call it. It's like a thing in a thing, and it fits in there, and that's very satisfying. It's like watching these videos that is kind of like giving me oddly satisfying pages.
Oddly
Yes,
satisfying.
I would follow those because they are very comforting. And just I do follow a lot of pages of people saving animals, and that really helps me. But yes, I exercise. I have pages where I use social media as a tool of doing my favorite recipes. I have ways of just following the recipes of other people around the country that I'm like, I really want to try that. That looks really good. I follow a lot of chefs too online, and I do interact with them. So that is something that you can definitely do.
So it sounds like you can plug into a lot of other
Yeah.
aspects in your life that aren't just the career focused things, right? Like we are whole humans that are interested in other things that are not necessarily related to the work, right? And that's okay. And you can bring that to the algorithm.
I would also implore you to use the not interested feature, which I do a lot. I feel like whenever I see like something that makes me angry, which usually is like you said something very divisive, I just literally hit hide or not interested because like we all have to program our algorithm. We're stuck with it, right? So we should just actively make them know I don't want to see this kind of stuff, and I think it'll help you see more positive stuff.
Yo, I learned something today. I didn't know that was an option. I want to check in. Is there anyone on the Discord Q&A? Okay, cool. Anyone else? I think we have time for maybe one or two
Got
more
5 more
questions.
minutes, so-
Yeah. And if you do, if you can come up to the microphone right here in the center, that'd be great, so everyone can hear. Go for it. That's my tuxedo mask.
Okay, I
Plot
just had a quick
twist.
question. I feel like as artists and with our relationship to social media, there's always this like spectrum. It's like, oh yeah, I'm an artist and I like have to make a social media to get myself out there. But then there's also this other side where it's like, I'm an artist and maybe I can use aspects of social media and use it to like accentuate my art. It feels more like you can embrace it. When you guys started your relationship with social media as artists, where on that spectrum were you? And where are you now? Has it changed at all? And if you have any tips to make it feel more of like an embracing thing rather than like, oh God, something I have to do, could you share those?
So I think for me, like I was the former at first, where I felt like social media was everything because like it seemed like that was the only way to break out. But then I think after the pandemic hit, I was just like, I'm so sick of the internet, and I was like, I want to leave my house. And so I actively built like a touring career where I would just go into different cities. And what I realized is I became much like the latter, where like I use social media to go to where I want to go, so I can travel and perform and get booked in festivals, like conventions, events, whatever it is that'll take me outside of my phone. Because I hate doing this. I hate it, but I do it, And I think that's the place I would want people of any career to get to, where we're not chronically online. We're using this as a tool as opposed to like the end all be all.
I think it's a good question of like, is it just yourself or do you need help? Because like there are people that can do this for a living, right? And obviously that costs money. Obviously that's a whole other level of things sometimes. But if it's not fun for you, don't do it, right? I think if it's becoming like a job that you dread doing all the time, it's a big red flag of like maybe that's not for you and that's okay, right? And I think as artists, you have to wear all those hats, right? You have to learn how to do all those things for yourself at first. And maybe if social media isn't the right way towards it, that's okay. I know some people that don't have social media and they have a career. It's pretty incredible. As actors on the actor lens, as a performing lens, right? We have all of the actors' access. We have our agents, we have our headshots, we have our content, we have our credits, we have our music, sound bits, all that kind of stuff, right? So if those are more towards your fitting, go for that. But I think just really temperature check it. Like if it's something you're dreading, don't go into it. And I don't think it needs to be the priority, right? And I think a lot of people, especially when they're starting out or breaking into something new, I think they really go 110% into it because they're like, social media is the way to launch myself into this. People have become influencers and they finally get the job that they want or the opportunity they want. Yes, that does work. It's a unicorn. Okay, I think we need to be really realistic about these percentages and like how often that happens. And it's soul sucking sometimes. So just check in with yourself, see how healthy it is for you. And if you need help for it, maybe it's worth investing into that help. Find a social media manager.
You can also talk to your social media manager, but talk to your friends, see how they use it. If some of your friends are very successful in it, see if there's any tools or other things that has helped them, and incorporate some of what they've used and see if that works for you. If it doesn't, then try something else that's like another tool. There's many different ways. Like I do read online about all the different tools adding to the different platforms and what have they added, as well as like properly using hashtags, properly doing this, properly doing that. You won't know until what works for you as long as you keep trying. And if it doesn't work, keep trying something else. Just don't give up.
I think the other thing too is when you find other things that work for you, nowadays it's really easy to have them all in one place.
Yeah.
Link trees, stuff like that. You can add websites to your own profile pages of other things. So like even if there's one platform that you're really stronger in than the other, you can link them all together in some way. So then maybe if your social media presence in like Instagram isn't as strong, they can easily look up your other stuff through those things. I think that time's up. Thank you all so much for a conversation.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time. Have a good con. Be safe.
Happy safe con,
Yeah.
y'all.
Take care.